What's going on, everyone? It's me, Chris Hernandez, and we're back with another episode of The Alternative. Now, every startup, every entrepreneur, every individual person, we all face this issue where, we have to create online documents or create documents for that matter, Excel sheets, things like that. And there are not many options out there for a lot of us in terms of cloud, because I already gave it away about online. So cloud storage options in terms of not transferring, but writing your documents and having them available across multiple different devices. So obviously you know where I'm going with this. So we wind up having to give into services such as Office 365 or Google Drive. And these things allow all of our documents to be accessible from multiple different devices. And a while back when I first started creating content, I immediately defaulted to using Google Drive for all of my stuff. But there are small pockets of things that occur where Google does get in trouble, and it is known that people's intellectual properties and also all of their stuff is observed on Google Drive sometimes. The chances of this is very low, but there are many privacy concerns when it comes to Google's applications. And this brought me to a point where I really didn't trust Google at all. But other than Office 365, what is there that's out there? Because obviously, Microsoft's Office 365 is really expensive, especially for someone that's starting out. So what options do you have? Not many, especially if you don't know where to look or what people offer. But luckily, here I am making this video to talk to you about something that I personally use for all of my documents that I write, the scripts that I write for the videos, Excel sheets with all of my payments in them and stuff like that and everything. All of my stuff is kept in a online software called Cryptpad. Cryptpad is an online encrypted storage platform that I mainly use for document writing. Cryptpad achieves its document encryption right inside your browser, which makes your documents unreadable outside of your single signed-in session. Another great aspect of Cryptpad is that it's also open source, which allows people to host their own servers for personal use and also for business use as well. Now that we talked about that, Cryptpad features a full suite of applications. These applications include rich text, spreadsheets, code/markdown, Kansan, which I hope I pronounced that right, slides, whiteboard, and polls. Each of the applications also come with special features that complement certain use spaces. These features include chat, contacts, color by author, and comments with mentions. It's also great to mention that Cryptpad doesn't only support text-based documents, spreadsheets, code, and presentations, but also with a higher tier version of Cryptpad, you unlock more storage options, which allows you to store things like PDFs, photos, videos, audio, and pretty much anything else that you want. Now, I just mentioned membership tiers, but we're going to jump into that in a minute. First, we're going to explore each different thing and show you how this stacks up against Google Drive and, of course, Google's whole suite of applications of things like Google Docs, Google's Excel alternative, Google Slides, and things like that. So I already have tabs open for this. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to jump right in. So first up, we have Cryptpad's rich text format. You can create your own templates. Right now, I am signed into an anonymous account, and we're going to go over this later, but this is not my account. It is just a random account that was created when I opened up Cryptpad in my web browser. So from here, we can do all tons of things that we're used to doing, which is renaming our document, formatting our document. Here are all the different stuff here to bold, underline, mess with fonts, and things like that. Next up, we have our code. So you can write live code within here and have the preview show up right next to it, just like in any other IDE. After this, we have our presentations. Now, this is where our first setback comes in. The presentation maker is kind of archaic. It actually looks kind of like, if I switch back to it, the code IDE, it looks similar where you type out your things and it creates the slide and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of this, but it's a good option to know that this exists here, just in case I wanted to get into creating my slides here, but I do not personally create slides here. Next up is Sheets, and it uses only Office to create its sheets. I do use this, so it works just like any other type of spreadsheet document creator. And if you export your Excel spreadsheets into the right format, you can totally import them up here into Cryptpad. Next up, we also have the poll. You can create polls for whatever you're doing, whether you own a business or whether you're doing, for instance, I'm an instructional designer. So if you're doing instructional design work and you're trying to do an analysis of learning materials and what people know, how much they learned from a training and stuff like that, you can totally use polls to create your own questionnaires. Next up, again, I'm really sorry if I pronounce this wrong, is Kanban, which is essentially a to-do list. So you create a to-do list, you write what's in progress, and you select done if it's done, and you put it inside of each different category. You can create even more categories, and you can share this amongst your team and other collaborators. Last up, but not least, is our whiteboard function. The whiteboard functions just like most other whiteboards where you can draw on it. You can use this for any instructional videos that you may need a whiteboard for, or if you're running a class, you can use this as a whiteboard. I keep saying whiteboard, but you can use it as a whiteboard for that as well. There we go. I cannot write with the mouse for anything. Now let's circle back. I mentioned membership tiers. So now is the time where we get into that. The very first tier of membership is a non-registered user, which is what you're viewing me use Cryptpad as at the moment. Non-registered users gain access to all applications, allowing you to open all types of documents for collaboration and export them. However, non-registered users should be used solely for collaboration when someone does not want an account. I say this because in this membership type, you have limited access and storage time, meaning after 90 days of inactivity, anything that is shared with you or that you've created is deleted in this format. So next up is the registered user, which is the membership that I personally use. What's great about being a registered user is that you do not need to provide any personal information, and it is completely free. This totally takes privacy to a new level. You will need to create a username and password though. So if you're gonna use this membership level, I suggest that you write down what your username and password is. That way you don't forget it. Registered users gain access to social features such as adding contacts for collaboration, the ability to upload and share files, the ability to create folders and share folders, the ability to access your Cryptpad across different devices, and a personal storage space of 1 GB. So again, this is the membership tier that I use, and it works perfectly for me as I only use Cryptpad for storing documents. I use an entirely different platform for storing all my videos, photos, and other large files, and I'll explain why later. And then last but not least, we have the premium membership for Cryptpad. This could range between 5 and 15 euros, which roughly translates to around $6 to $18 American. Premium membership gives you between 5 and 50 gigabytes of storage space, priority support for when you contact the support team, and most important here is that you're supporting privacy and encryption. It's really important to support internet privacy here. Now, that seems all fine and dandy, but let's talk about some drawbacks to using Cryptpad. There's one major flaw for me when it comes to using this. There is no native application for Android and iOS devices. If you wanted to access your files from your tablet or phone, you'd have to access Cryptpad from your device's browser. This also leads to another issue in that you can't create documents offline or view documents offline. A way around this though is to access Cryptpad when you have service and download the documents you want to view later, but some people may view this as a complete turnoff for them. Now, I have some last words for you. I'm really kind of biased when it comes to this review because I use Cryptpad personally. They have not paid me for this review. I'm doing this of my own free will for Alternative 2. but I use Cryptpad, so I enjoy using it. I don't mind the minor inconvenience of not being able to access an application or access my documents offline, because most of the time when I am making these videos, I'm at home, and the privacy thing really is a plus for me. And like, finally, I can't really stress enough to any of you that watch this how important it is to support other types of or other companies that are making products like this that are not our normal big tech companies, especially when the focus is around privacy and security. Now, if you want a big example of what I'm talking about, let's just take Google Photos for an example here. Google Photos destroyed all of their competition by offering free cloud-based photo storage. And once they'd driven all their competition out of business, they then pulled the rug out from under people and started charging a premium price to save your photos online. Now, naysayers will say, oh, well, they don't mind paying for something. It's just the convenience of things. Oh, like, whatever. But the really important thing here is that monopolies are bad, and they disable people from opening up businesses and having people like Google offer things at competitive pricing, because they have competitors that they have to fight against for business. And so monopolizing these products allows the person in control to just inflate prices whenever they want. And then again, not to mention, there's the whole privacy concern and stuff like that. But that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, drop into the comments. Let me know what you think about Cryptpad. Are you using it? Are you not using it? Are you intrigued? Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. That way you can follow and be alerted to all of my new content that comes out weekly. And lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel, all donations are accepted. You can head over to my Ko-Fi, which is in the description of this video, and you can donate whatever you want. So thank you so much for watching.